Ah, friends, gather, gather. I present to you Mr. Melvin Jerome Blanc, otherwise known as the Man of a Thousand Voices, Bugs Bunny himself, the grandfather of voice acting, entertainer, performer. And this is Robert Lawson Turnercade's Pecha Kucha presentation of Mel Blanc. Sit back, I hope you enjoy. Mel Blanc's most notable accomplishments include revolutionizing and profoundly influencing the realm of voiceover, being a performer and entertainer on all levels such as vaudeville, comedic stage productions, radio, film, acting, and most importantly, voice acting. He was the first actor to receive on-screen credit for his performances. Born on May 30th, 1908 in San Francisco, California, to Russian Jewish parents Frederick and Eva Blanc, eventually moving to Portland, Oregon, where he had finished his education. During his time in high school, however, Mel acquired a fondness for using voices and eventually would use them for his career. After graduating from high school in 1927, he then proceeded to become the youngest orchestra conductor in the country at only age 19. He would also spend the other half of his time performing various shtick and vaudeville acts in the general vicinity of Washington, Oregon, and Northern California. It was also in that year of 1927 that marked Mel's debut in radio, while also having his first voice acting gig, which was on the KGW program The Hoot Owls, where the man with 1,000 voices began to show promise and gain attention in regards to his adept abilities in voicing multiple characters, as well as his vocal range. Blanc ended up playing a variety of supporting characters on the NBC Red Network show called The Jack Benny Program. How did he start, you may ask? Well, funny story, he actually ended up being the sound effects for Benny's Maxwell automobile during one day when the audio track failed to play, prompting Mel to take the microphone and make the sound on his own. Eventually, Mel, with the love and support of his wife Estelle, showcased the power of his relentless tenacity by visiting the studio of the famous Warner Brothers Pictures for nearly 2 whole years before he was able to join Leon Schlesinger Productions, a big producer for theatrical cartoons during that time period, where he then met Treg Brown. Treg Brown was so taken by Blanc's performance that he almost immediately introduced Blanc to some of the most significant animation directors that Warner Brothers had at the time, consisting of Tex Avery, Bob Clampett, Frank Tashlin, etc. These directors, whom also loved Blanc's performance, offered him his first role as the drunken bull in the cartoon Picador Porky. It was later on that very year that Porky Pig, the first of many iconic and staple characters Mel would play and bring to life, was offered to him. They told him about how timid the character is, and that knowledge, along with a little bit of method acting, helped create Porky's quintessential stutter, and along with that, Daffy Duck was born. To give you all a better understanding of this man's vast vocal range and acting capabilities, I will now list off some of his most immortal characters. Bugs Bunny, Sylvester the Cat, Tweety Bird, Foghorn Leghorn, Yosemite Sam, Speedy Gonzales, Barney Rubble, the Tasmanian Devil, Secret Squirrel, Woody Woodpecker. To help further accentuate the reason why this was the golden age of animation was the implementation of better quality and quantity audio aspects into the animation industry. With this, characters were able to be fleshed out more. They were given characteristics, they were given more life. They were more believable while still being wacky and ridiculous. Melvin Jerome Blanc was more than just a set of astonishing, inhuman vocal cords. He was more than just voices and dialects. He was an actor. First and foremost, every single character that he portrayed was fleshed out, personalized, and three-dimensional because he always gave 100% to everything that he did during every recording session. But Mel would not just stop at being a great actor. He found new, innovative ways to bring each and every one of his characters to life and more believable to the viewers, such as chomping a carrot as Bugs or spitting at Sylvester the Cat. That sort of ingenuity is still honored and an enigma to all voice actors this very day. That is why, even to this very day, he is still a legend amongst the voiceover artist community. He set the stage and the medium for everyone else who strive to be in the business. One of his most notable accomplishments being that he was the first voice actor to actually receive on-screen credit for his performances in the cartoons. Why do all actors honor, respect, and envy this phenomenal artist so much? Well, besides being the originator and proprietor of almost all of Warner Brothers' most iconic characters for basically his entire life, there was also a time where Mel had to play Daffy Duck, impersonating Bugs Bunny and vice versa, shaking the foundation of what a voice actor could do. In the year of January 1961, Mel Blanc had an accident that would shake the foundation of his life and his craft. Going to a recording session in his Aston Martin, he was involved in a head-on collision that sent him to the hospital. Apparently, he had never missed a single recording session until this fateful night had occurred. Believe it or not, but Mel's actual first signs of regaining his consciousness while he was at the hospital was speaking as his characters while his eyes were still closed. Respecting him, no voice actor at the time would accept Warner Brothers' offer to fill the role, and Mel eventually began recording episodes from his bed as he was recovering. Tragedy struck the world on July 10th, 1989. Mel Blanc had been smoking cigarettes for the majority of his entire life, but however, it was not until his late 70s that it began to take a major toll on his physical body. He had been admitted to the hospital to get his lungs checked up on, and in the night, he had fallen off of the bed, broken his femur, and died. The memorial on the video right now is called Speechless. It is in honor of Melvin Jerome Blanc for everything that he contributed to the art world, to the acting world, in honor of how beloved and cherished he will always be for all of us, and how these characters will never speak the same again. As Mel's son, Noel Blanc, once said, "Laughter was my father's art, and his art was exceptional. It was impeccable and unmatched by anyone." Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed my Pecha Kucha, or Pecha Kucha? I don't really know how it's pronounced, but my presentation. I hope you enjoyed me frantically running through all these slides, trying to make them in 20-second increments, but as Mel Blanc once said, a lot. That's all, folks.